For exclusive content, lesson requests, tab library and more, visit patreon.com/pedalsteel.
Hey, welcome back, gang. This is the second lesson in our Palm Blocking for Hard Learners series. Today we're going to apply our exaggeration process to a basic lick, some pedal rocking, harmonized scale movement, and some single note scale movement. Before we do that, I want to quickly review what we talked about in the first lesson. We talked about our hand position, how we have a straight line from our meaty part of our palm across the tucked finger and out to our pinky, and how actually a lot of the blocks aren't on the palm, it's on this tucked finger. We also talked about our first blocking motion, a three-dimensional V pattern, how thumb picks away from us diagonally across the fretboard and index and middle pick towards us in the opposite diagonal direction across the fretboard. And in our exaggeration process, we start by really exaggerating the picking movement, making sure we hear the block first and then the pick. And how we also have a fixed wrist and minimal pick movement. How the pick motion comes really from our elbow and not from the movement of our fingers so much. A couple things I forgot to point out in the first lesson. The first is that if you're having a hard time as we're going slow, I just want you to realize in some ways going slow is actually harder. We have to really focus on getting the block first and then the pick. As I start to speed up, the amount of force in my hand going into the strings is naturally going to increase. And that's actually going to make the block easier. I'm not going to have to think so much about getting my knuckle there on time. Just the force in my picking movement is going to make that happen. So in some ways, a moderate tempo is going to make the block easier than when I'm going slow. And as we continue to improve, we'll really reduce the amount of vertical movement and we'll add a little bit more picking motion in. So as I maintain this kind of horizontal movement, the fingers, including the blocking finger, will kind of reach down and get their string. And I'm going to exaggerate here what I mean. Right. Like I said, that's an exaggeration, but you can kind of see how it's like I'm just floating above the strings and there's just the smallest amount of vertical movement. The other is, this isn't going to be our only blocking motion, the V pattern. There's going to be some others, but for now we're going to focus on the V. Let's take a look at number one. This is just a classic pedals down lick. Looking at the tab, you'll notice we go back and forth between middle thumb, index thumb, thumb. So those toggles between a thumb and a finger, those are going to be our V motions. Right? So that's how we're going to group those notes. And with the double thumb at the end, we're going to use the same approach as we would with pick blocking. In pick blocking, we always utilize pedaling or slides as a time when we can readjust our hand position. So that's why we're going to do a double thumb there. We've got that extra time while we're pedaling off to readjust our hand back and get another thumb pick. So again, we've got our first pick on 3. We're going to pick towards us and we pedal in. And now we've got our V's. Thumb on 4 and middle on 1. And now we've got thumb on 5 and index on 4. Thumb away, index towards. Then we've got our double thumb. Thumb away. And then use that pedaling time to readjust our hand position. And another thumb away. And we're going to keep exaggerating for the first few. And we're really focusing on hearing those blocks and bringing our attention to our tucked finger muting the strings. All right, now let's start to bring it in. All right, let's bring in the metronome and our bar. We're going to set up on the 3rd fret, so it'll be a pedals down C lick. 1, 2, ready, go. Ready, go. All right, now same idea as last time. We're going to swing the lick now. So those V groups will be the notes that we swing together. We've got the pick and pedal, so that'll be kind of snappier. And then we've got thumb and middle, our first V. And then the next one, thumb index. Those will be grouped. Double thumb. And you'll notice as I practice this without a metronome, I'm really utilizing the space in between each V. Don't worry about the space here. Just make sure you get these next 2 notes nice and tight. So you didn't get it there. Then I'll focus on the next one, take your time, and then get them both together. And then as that starts feeling comfortable, then we'll start trying to get it all together. All right, let's bring in the metronome. 1, 2, ready, go. Ready, go. Cool. All right, so again, still using that V motion and just swinging it, getting those notes grouped together nice and tight. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Here's some basic pedal rocking. Now we're going to pick index and middle together. Even though they're together, nothing's going to be different about that picking motion, right? Index and middle are going to pick diagonally towards us, and then thumb away. Catch the block, thumb away. So let's get this motion down first. Really exaggerate. Block thumb. Block fingers. Block thumb. Start to speed up and bring it in. And like I said, as you notice as we speed up, the block actually becomes a little bit easier because I've got more force going into the strings. Now, one thing about going faster, it can be a natural tendency to start getting some tension in the hand, right? You think, if I keep my hand tight, then maybe I'll be able to go faster, but it's actually the opposite. The more tension in our hand, we're going to be fighting our own muscle tension in our hand. So we want to keep it nice and loose. Even though we're going fast, my hand's still relaxed. Okay, so sometimes you got to bring your attention back to your hand, shake it out, just relieve that tension. Okay, so we're going pedals down. We're going to do 1 back and forth. And then we're going to do that same double thumb. We pick thumb, and as we rock off, we readjust for another thumb. And now we do the same thing on our new strings. 5 and 4, 6, 5 and 4. And now here's the same idea. We've got a double index and middle. As we rock back on A, we readjust our hand to get another index and middle pick towards us. And keep doing that. We'll start to speed it up and make them smaller. But I've still got that V going. Minimal wrist and finger movement. Let's bring the bar in. All right, and as we speed up, we got a little bit more force, the blocking becomes easier. All right, let's bring in the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Ready, go. So how are we going to swing this one? We've still got our V's, right? That's one of our V's. So we'll swing those. The thumb to, all right, here's our first pick, then a V. Then we've got our double thumb. And then we've got a V here, right? We've got our first pick, and then we've got our V. So those are grouped. Hit it with the metronome. 2, ready, get, go. Ready, go. I definitely recommend practicing these both ways. Practice them straight and then practice them with the swing, because we're going to use both when we're playing in real life situations. Okay, and then you can have some fun with it. Throw it up the fretboard. All right, you've already got some cool licks here. All right. That was from the first lesson. Let's take a look at number 3. Here is just our pedals down harmonized scale on 3 and 5. We're just going to run it halfway. All right, so kind of the same idea. Instead of index and middle on 3 and 4, now they're going to be on 3 and 5. But that picking motion is still going to be the same. So index and middle towards, thumb away. Use our exaggeration process. Start nice and big. Now a little bit smaller. So we're going to run that pattern over each position in our harmonized scale. So 3rd fret pedals down, pedals up 6, 8, pedals down, back to pedals up, just reverse it. Bring in the metronome. 2, ready, go. Now to swing it, we got our first pick, and then we've got our V. So those will be grouped. First pick, V. Metronome. Ready, go. So not too different from the first one, except we just get to stay on these strings. But the picking motion is basically the same. And in between each one, we do have to block. All right? So that's something we didn't have to do in this one, except at the end, because it was always moving. Here, right, there is a mute in between each position, so we do have to get the block down after that last index and middle. And you're welcome to take this through the whole scale. Have some fun with it. We'll get more into messing around with that later. So if you thought that sounded cool, we will get to that. All right. Now, this is a part that's kind of difficult for some reason, playing on these lower strings. I think it has something to do with having to get our hand back to catch the block or blocking from the palm. But for whatever reason, a little bit more difficult. But again, we're just doing part of our pedals up single note major scale. Or no bar for now. All right, so 8, 7 with middle, thumb on 6, hit the B pedal, middle on 5. So you can see it still goes thumb, finger, thumb, finger, thumb, finger, thumb. Right? So, right, what does that mean? We can still use our V between those two. But we have a thumb crossover, kind of like in our first exercise. Right? Thumb crosses over. It's going to be practically the same thing. Right? So even though we're going V, right, thumb away, middle towards, we got to get that jump over the string, thumb away, B pedal, middle towards. Now back to thumb, away. As we release the B pedal, move down, middle towards, thumb away. Start to speed it up, get smaller. All right, super important one, because we do, in a lot of solos, right, it starts with a walk up. And then we can also swing it, right? So thumb, middle thumb, but we've got to swing those. And on the last two gets swung. Hit the metronome. 1, 2, ready, go. And swing it. All right. And again, you can see those blocks are coming right at kind of the base of the tucked finger, the last knuckle. All right. So on our very last one, we're just adding a little bit of variation. We're still walking it up, thumb and middle. This time on the way down, we've still got thumb on 5. Now we're going to utilize index on 7. Right, so index is still a pick towards us. And then it starts over, thumb away, index towards, thumb away, pedal, middle towards, thumb away, pedal, index, thumb. All right, bring it in smaller. with the metronome. Ready, go. And swing it. All right, y'all, there's the next step in our palm blocking for hard learners. Start having fun with some of this stuff, right? Don't let it get too boring. Start combining some of it. And I also just want you to be aware that the fingerings here are not set in stone, right? This is just how we're learning it for now. Even take that first exercise we did. You don't have to do it exactly the way I said to finger it. You could do it with just thumb and middle. So if one specific way isn't comfortable to you, find a way that's comfortable. Right? Maybe you want index on 3. Right? Instead of middle. Try switching them out. Middle, index, all middle, all index. Right? So we're just going to keep adding to our skills, and in the next lesson we will check out some more licks and a new pattern instead of the V. Right? So again, hope you all like it. Please let me know if there's anything that's not making sense to you, or what you like about it, what you don't like. It really helps me out. All right, I'll see y'all later. Hey gang, Winifred and I would like to thank you for watching Johnny's Steel Guitar Licks. If you got anything out of this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And if you really enjoyed it, you can help us spread the word by sharing this video and telling your friends. Thank you.